Just kidding.
This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield and co-host Marnie Winfield.
I seen somebody wearing their 217 Recovery Podcast t-shirt today. It was new, it was walking around, it was hovering above the ground, looking awesome. He was certainly happy to get that, I assume, because he was wearing it.
That was funny.
Yeah, I got sound effects. They aren't really playing, but I think they're playing. I don't know.
We don't know.
Are they really playing?
Ooh.
I don't know. Welcome to the show again. Welcome to the 217 Recovery Podcast. This is now we're live on Spreaker with it. So here's my question. Since we're supposed to be live on Facebooks and we're not sure if we are.
Our technical department's figuring that out right now.
But we're live on Spreaker right now.
Sweet.
But I think you only get that. Well, no, because I clicked the Facebook and Twitter and YouTube button. So I don't know. Like, is that, and that'll probably just be the audio, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Testing stuff is so much fun when you're live. Testing stuff is so much fun. So thanks for tuning in, though, if you are like going, hey, they're going live on Spreaker right now. And we did say, I think it was Marnie or Tyrone, or maybe it was you. I don't remember when. Some old, I forget things. But we had said, like, we're going to be testing a lot of stuff.
Right.
You know, so it's going to be hit or miss. And you just see some funky stuff flying up. That's just us. Because how are you going to test it?
You have to test it.
Got to test it.
And what better way to have a blooper reel?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, am I afraid of falling on my face?
Nah.
Are you?
No, we did that enough.
How much embarrassing stuff I've done in my life?
And not remembered it?
Oh, God. Or barely remembered just enough to just make you cringe.
Be shame?
Yeah. Yeah,
Guilt?
so this, not a big thing.
No.
People were like, those guys suck. They don't know what they're doing. Clearly.
Like,
I'm glad you're Captain Obvious over there, but...
Oh, well, maybe they could show us how to do it.
Oh, what was your friend's name?
Oh, Ryan Upchurch?
Yeah.
He's like a YouTube star.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, he could help us.
I'm sure.
Yeah, give him a call.
I will, as soon as I can find his number.
Did you lose it again?
Nah, he never really gave it to me.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. So can you just DM him? Hit him up in the DMs?
I could try.
A little direct message to him?
Yeah.
Like, hey, man, need your help here for a minute.
Yeah, help us out. He likes to follow dreams and goals.
Probably his dreams and goals.
Yeah,
Justin.
but either way, it doesn't. Either way, I mean, it's just nice that when people do follow those things.
Yeah. Well, you're following yours, and I like that.
Yeah.
You're 27 months today clean.
Yep. 27 months today
I
clean.
have a button for that one. So it just takes a minute sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, give Justin a round of applause or about it. 27 months. Good job, man.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big deal. I was talking to Tyrone today. Went and did a photo shoot with him. If you're on Facebook Live, and we are on Facebook Live, you're like, yeah, Corey, you talked about this already. But I went and saw him, and we started talking about jail, and he said he doesn't count jail time. And I said, well, you know, he knows too. It's everybody's. But he just said for him, he doesn't count it. And I told him, I was like, well, you know, it depends, because some people could be in jail and like, oh man, I'm here doing my thing, and once I get out, you know, but once you get out, that's when it really hits you. But when you were in jail, you were kind of working on like, all right, I'm going to get out of here. What's next? I don't want to live the same life.
Right. And actually, when I was in jail, me and a buddy of mine who I used together with were actually locked up together. And right before we both got released, he got released a couple of weeks before me, though. But right before we got released, we made a pact in jail that we wanted to live clean and sober. And we were going to do that, and we're going to use each other for support. He didn't go to treatment. He got out, went to work, still clean and sober. I think he's got a couple months just shy of me, but still doing good.
Nice.
Working, being a productive member of society, everything that we're supposed to do. I went to treatment. I got told when I was in jail that I couldn't go home to my mom's house or my brother's house, which left me with really no options to really go anywhere. And my PO was like, I'll transfer you anywhere in the state as long as you're doing something in recovery.
That's what's up, you know what I'm saying?
And I didn't know how to take that at first. At first, I was mad at him, and I'm like, well, why can't I go home? Everyone else gets to go home. Why you hating on me all of a sudden?
It's because I'm white. Did you tell him that?
No, I didn't.
I should have asked him that.
But, you know, I mean, he gave me that initial push, which is what I needed to do something better with my life than what I was previously doing. And I was honest with him during my PSI, which is your pre-sentencing investigation, about my addiction issues and my family and whatnot. And he just kind of nudged me towards recovery a little bit. And I asked about going to treatment, and here I am, 27 months clean. Treatment, sober living. Blessings.
That's how you got to work it. And you did it, I'd say, a way that most people don't do it. But you can't really say that because everybody's different. But you did what you had to do for yourself, and that's good. And, you know, Tyrone, he doesn't want to count it. And Tyrone doesn't count days anyway. So,
Yeah.
you know, how much clean time you got, Tyrone? He's like, I don't know.
I'm clean.
Yeah, but he's got a couple years himself. But it's different for everybody.
Right.
You know, like I gave all my coins to my mom, you know, because that meant something to me again. Because in the early days, I started collecting coins, and then, you know, I get 3 of them. Right?
Yeah, I still got all mine.
Let me get them again. And then at one point, I just remember throwing them all in the trash, going, how many of these am I going to get? You know, how many 1-month coin, how many 2-month coins? This is getting old. And, you know, I saw a lady at a meeting one time, and she said she gave them to her mom, and it meant something. Like, cause she gave her 6 months to her mom. I'm like, I'm going to give them all to her. You know, I'm going to give them to my mom, give them to my sister, my brother. I don't know if they have them. It's not really my thing. I mean, who cares? You know, I know my mom still has them, like, because I bought her like this little shrine to me just to piss my brothers and sisters off, because they know how much awesome. They know I'm awesome, and they know that I'm the favorite, even though we're beefing right now, or put my mom's on timeout. But like, I still love my mom. You know,
Right.
Absolutely. It's just right now I'm going through a lot of things, and I don't need extra. And that's the difficulty about being in recovery too, is some people don't understand, but they don't really have to. You know, it's about me. It's about my recovery, and it is very selfish.
It is.
And I have to be, because I don't want to take one drink. One drink will send me right back down, man. And you know how many people out there just waiting for me to have a drink? Tons.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, look I knew he was going to fail.
Yep. Told you,
flat on his
dude's
face.
full of shit. That's what happens, though. And I know they're out there waiting, but I don't. I just have to worry about me, myself. And sometimes you got to close doors for a minute, but you can open them back up later.
Right.
You know, and that's just what you have to do to protect yourself. And, you know, they say it's selfish. That's kind of what they mean. And if you're not willing to do that, oh, good luck. And I'm not saying you have to shut family members and friends out either. I'm just saying you got to do what you have to do for yourself.
Yeah, you got to put your recovery first. If your recovery doesn't come first, you're just going to keep in the vicious cycle.
Mm-hmm. Good luck. It sucks. And it feels a lot better being on this side.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter who I had to cut out of my life to be on this side. I'm just thankful that I'm on this side and giving life today.
Mm-hmm. And if I have to, you know, pause for a minute on a relationship, then I have to. And they can choose to forgive me, or they can choose to move on. You know,
Right.
that's on them. But I'm just trying to do what I'm doing for myself. And in the long road, and looking back at things, they can look back and go, well, I'm glad Corey had to do that instead of going out and drinking again.
Yeah.
You know, if he was at that point where something in his, because not everybody knows what's going on with everybody.
No.
And just in that moment, if she can look back, you know, I'm talking about my mom at this point, if she can look back and just go, okay, well, Corey must have been having a difficult time more than, you know, what he could even come to me with. And okay, maybe things didn't go how I wanted them to, how I expected them, and whatever mode he was in, I'm glad he didn't use.
Right. And that's the best thing about recovery, is we pick what we're going to do and everything else, and we just stick to our guns and just do it.
Yeah. Those options today. And sometimes people don't have those options.
No.
And, you know, that's what we're doing with the outreach thing. And there were some people that were hating on us. Oh, those guys, they know about heroin use. Well, we know a little bit about everything. And
Yeah.
I ran Tyrone, you know, he spent 7 months in the homeless shelter. You know, I spent a few weeks in one once and lived in my car for a minute. But, like, Tyrone was there. Like, he knows that Tyrone is crucial.
Right.
You know, that's the people that need to be out there, you know, and that's what Tyrone's doing. And I think that's great. And it's really going to help us move forward with what we're trying to do. And I just got to think of a different name for it. Earlier, I was in the bathroom, my third office. And
Your third office,
yeah,
that's funny.
And I was thinking about it, and I was like, okay, because community outreach, you know, like everybody uses that, and it's not very personal.
No.
So I was thinking about calling it the, yeah, that's what I was calling it. Yeah, come meet the team. We're going to help you. No, but it was progress, the something progress, personal progress. It was great. I should have wrote it down.
You should have.
Damn. Or maybe I'm just stalling because I don't want people to steal it.
That's a good option too. Until we plaster it everywhere.
Because there's thieves out there.
Yeah.
It was not. I know what it is. I just really don't want to say it. but it makes more sense because it means exactly what it is,
right.
And not just community outreach.
And people wonder, well, what's community outreach even at all? Because what community are you trying to outreach? It's not personalized.
Right.
I mean, are we talking schools? Are we talking whatever, you know, the jails, whatever? It's not personalized. And when people think about community, they're like, well, there's nothing wrong in my community. Right. You know, because a lot of addiction issues just get swept up underneath the rug in a lot of towns. And people don't want to look at it because of the shame and guilt it brings onto their town. And most towns won't even allow meetings in them because of the shame and guilt.
Really?
Or some. I know where I came from, we had one meeting a week, and I didn't even know about it, really.
Yeah, but do you think that's more on... not the town, but just the people going, well, I only got one day a week to go do this, and not other people stepping up to do it?
Or just the shame that comes with it?
Nah, you think so?
Yeah.
Because I would have got, well, I don't know. I just don't have time. You know, if I could go to a meeting every day, I would. I like them. I have fun in them.
I like meetings.
You know, and I don't work the steps, but that's not why I go.
Right.
I go to get the things out, and people tell me, oh, Corey, you work the steps, you just don't know it. Okay, perfect, whatever. That's great. But I love the people. You know, they're like people in recovery are my people.
It's that connection that we get, that personal connection.
It's the same thing like when we're driving people to treatment.
Right.
It's like once we tell them, oh, yeah, you know, I'm 3 years clean, but I was in the backseat of a car once. And,
yeah,
you know, I get it, bro. And they're just, okay.
It's like a weight lifted off their shoulders, you know, like I've picked people up from jail and asked them, hey, you want to stop, get some real food real quick through a drive-through, you know, because how many people that's gotten out of jail have been, especially struggled with addiction, has felt human in a while, you know, just someone to care, you know, offer them a good meal, maybe something to drink, maybe even a pack of smokes before treatment. Because how many people get out and actually have that stuff, you know?
You're a better driver than me. I just give them a bologna sandwich and a bottle of water. They usually just hand it back, and I'm like, thanks. I'm not eating it myself right in front of them. Bologna sandwich. You want an apple? There's an apple too, bro.
Brown bag lunch?
Yeah. You know, they probably haven't seen one of those in a couple minutes, so I figure, hey, nah, I'm just kidding. I don't.
But it's just nice to see that hope flash in their eyes that someone's actually cares and actually trying to reach out and help them do good things. And I've had some people that are disrespectful when it comes to time management.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Well,
and then it's kind of hard, you know, like, what do you do? Do you go on about your day because, like, I got other things to do? Or do you sit there and wait and hope that, yeah, they're going to come out?
I was like, bro, why are you still out there? Like, you need to be gone.
Yeah.
Like, you got to go. Like, what are you doing? And you're like, well, I'm just waiting for her. And I was like, bro, like, you know what's happening in there, right?
Man.
Yeah, I know what's happening. And that's the scary part about addiction, you know? And where I was taking her was another place of employment of mine. So it was like one of those things is like, why do I wait? Where do I not wait? And then what kind of repercussions come out. Because, we work close with certain organizations, real close, hand in hand, and I don't want to put that image out there that, I didn't try enough.
People. Yeah. But I would have been on the phone.
Like, I was on the phone.
Yo.
Like, hey, what's going on? Texting.
Loudspeaker. Put them on blast. Like, you ain't coming out.
Right.
That's what's up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. What you saying? That would be funny because I have a sick sense of humor. But nah, probably wouldn't do that. So next Saturday, we're going to go to the space. Brian Chamberlain.
Ooh.
She was on the business card. But they're moving their place. But they do like live stand-up and stuff there.
That'd be awesome. I've never actually seen live stand-up.
Studio autonomy. Maybe you shouldn't go to this. Because, like, I don't know. I mean, it could be cool. But I don't know. It's not like a... I don't know. It's not like you're going to... I don't know. I don't want to talk bad about it because I don't know. It could be the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. But we're not going for the entertainment. We're not going for the lineup. Like, I don't even know who's going to be there. But we're going to go just check it out because we want to set up our own thing. And they got like a green screen. They got videos so they can record it.
That'd be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Our new set of goals. Yeah.
And, yeah, we walked into it, man. It was like one of those freakish things. And it's like, is this a sign?
It's funny how our higher power just puts things in our path when we least expect it.
Mm-hmm.
Just like people talk about this pink cloud and how, well, when you first hit recovery, you're on this pink cloud. But in reality, I haven't gotten off of it yet. Like, it's been really nice. I'm not saying I haven't had bad days, but as long as I keep doing the next right thing, everything just falls together perfectly. And I don't try to force anything really or anything else because I know if I force it, it's not meant to be anyways. So it's going to fall and be very tragic.
Just go with the flow.
Right. When things happen, they happen.
But you have to be present to realize, oh, wait, hold on.
Right.
What just happened? Like, that was almost too good to be true.
It's kind of like my new job endeavor I'm going to be starting, just it was too good to be true when it was even brought up to me. And, and at first I turned it down. I'm like, no, I don't want to do it, because we got this and this and this going on. And I just don't want any hard feelings or anything else with any organizations. And I didn't know how to properly move on, and just realize that. And thanks to you and a few other people, it's sometimes we have to move on and just know what we want to do as far as our goals and aspirations in life, and as far as helping people that's in jail, I feel that's a big necessity that needs to happen. And it was a goal of mine when I was in treatment. And here I am doing it, and it's just remarkable.
And that position is kind of perfect for you. You've been there. You know what it's like, and you know the difference between just sitting in there doing absolutely nothing or sitting in there trying to set yourself up for some kind of good, and people are in different situations. Some people in there might be in there for a drug charge, but yet they don't think they have a problem.
Right.
They're not ready yet.
I never thought I had a problem because I never got caught by the law. And it wasn't until then I realized I think I might have a problem. And then one of the chaplains gave me an NA book, and I started reading it. I'm like, shit, I really have a problem. Like, what do we do when we start reading the literature? And it just describes you, like, right to a T. Like, how is this written to describe me to a T so perfectly? Well, yeah, because another addict wrote it who understood about addiction. And it just spoke volumes to me.
Yeah, it starts hitting too close to home when you're like, wait, I'm not in a motel overlooking the beach, am I? Like, no, I'm not in any place fun. Like, my life isn't really going all that great. But that's how the brain will trick you, man. It really will. When you get into it so far, I was thinking about it when I was in the shower today. I think about a lot of things in my third office. But it was just how the brain will trick you and how it's almost the same. And I've seen movies and stuff and heard psychologists and psychiatrists and all kinds of smart people, doctors, explain it this way: is food. You know, we know we need food to survive. Well, it takes the place of food. It takes the place of shelter. You know, it jumps in your brain and boom, there it is in the front of your brain, the front lobe. And this is saying, I want this. I need this. So it's like telling somebody, hey man, I need you to go the rest of your life without food. Huh?
Right.
No. I mean, I can go on a diet for a minute. I can slow down on the food if you want, but how can I ever live without food?
Right. And there's actually a good movie or documentary, however you want to call it, that we show at the treatment center I work at, and I'm sure you showed it too. It was called Pleasures Unwoven, and it talked a lot about the frontal cortex and the midbrain and how addiction just takes over everything. And the way it's put together by someone who was in addiction, battled addiction, and is now in recovery. It was just put together really nice for people to understand how it really affects the brain. It's just phenomenal. You know?
It's crazy. And so try, if you're talking to your son or your daughter or a family member or friend or whatever, keep that in your mind. Like their brain is telling them when you're like, you should just not drink anymore. Okay.
Right.
Just equate that to telling them you can't eat food anymore. Because that's basically what you're telling them, because their brain is so rewired. That's just how it works, and it lies to us, you know, when we're trying to struggle, and when we're like, and we have a couple months clean, and things aren't going our way like we want them to, and next thing you know, we're off using again.
Right.
And we know it doesn't make us better. We know it's not going to help us, but our brain is just like need food, except it's saying need alcohol, or need, you know, meth, or need heroin, or need coke, or need weed, or whatever.
Right.
It's just telling us over and over, I need it. Eventually, we're just like, oh, that is a good idea. Nobody's home this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do it this weekend. No one's even going to know, and I'll be right back into the swing of things. You know, it's like if you're cheating on your diet. Like I said, I was brought up with food. Oh, yeah, I'll go on a diet. Yeah. And then I sneak in,
I'll eat ice cream because no one's going to see me.
Yeah, it's 3 a.m. You know,
Yeah.
Of course we got ice cream in the fridge. Everybody has ice cream in the fridge. I'll just go sneak a couple, and I'm eating bowl full. And yeah, it's the same thing. You know, nobody's going to know, man. I'll make sure I wash the dish out. No one's going to know. And I'll even put some back.
And what even opens my eyes up more is just how we can take our recovery and just apply it to all aspects of our life, though. Just being open, honest, and willingness to do anything in life just gives us endless possibilities in reality. And just, I know now that in my years of recovery now, that my relationship status overall is way improved, because I don't have to worry about what I'm telling somebody, because it doesn't matter what comes out of my mouth, because it's going to be the truth, and it's up to them if they like it or not. If they don't, sorry I kind of hurt your feelings, but at the end of the day, at least you know the truth and how I feel.
Yeah.
And I don't have to sit back and be like, well, did I sugarcoat that a little too much, or did I not say what I really wanted to say? No, I said what I wanted to say, and it's the truth, and it's the way we live now. Some people's gonna like it, some people ain't.
That's what's up, you know what I'm saying?
That's what you gotta do.
And that invisible wall just gets built, and people just start hopping over it when they see that. It's amazing.
Yeah. But I saw some guy post on something on Facebook the other day, and he was like, well, back in my using days, I used to meet people all the time, and now that I'm clean, I don't meet anybody. I was going to respond to it, and I was like, no, I'm not going to respond to that. Where are you hanging out?
Right.
I mean, you can meet people all the time.
Are you
way
going to
easier
meetings?
now. Yeah.
You complain that you're not meeting anybody, but are you going to meetings?
Yeah. What are you doing?
Yeah. And are you creating a safe network of people where you're just isolating yourself, because that's what recovery is to you, is isolation, but you're just going to start drinking or using again?
Yeah, that's what I was like. No, I'm not going to respond on that, because it just was like, well, what are you doing with it? And it was more of a throwing it back at them. But that's why I was like, nah, I'm not going to even respond. But I'll respond on my podcast,
right?
Because what are you doing? Get out, meet people, call your cousin, call some people who don't use drugs, don't drink, go hang out with your mom. Like there's people out there, and obviously you're not going to meet your mom. You've already met her,
right?
Maybe, And if you haven't, well, you should maybe go track her down, maybe meet her. I don't know. That could be nice. It could be disastrous. But there's so many things that you can do to go meet people. You know, go to church, go to the library, walk around the store, and just open the door for people. I know it's manual, but it'll look weird for a minute. Just explain to the door guy at Meijer or Walmart what you're doing, and they'll be like, okay. Like, I want to open the door for everybody who walks in today. And I'm going to say hi to them. You would meet a lot of people.
For sure.
You look weird, but it would, just saying.
Yeah.
You know, if you're having that hard of a time meeting somebody, I mean, there's so many options.
And honestly, if you look up like different things on Facebook in your area, like there's groups of people in recovery that post gatherings and things that they do. Like we both live up here in Traverse City, and a lot of the people in recovery up here has created a Facebook page. It's called TC Fellows, and they post things on there that they do in recovery all the time. A little get-togethers, either for NA or AA. It doesn't matter. Like they all went out sledding just this winter. A big group of people in recovery. Like the bond up here in recovery is so amazing, and there's like that in a lot of the other bigger cities too. But you just have to put yourself out there to find it and to go after it and want it. If you don't want it, you're just gonna be miserable. You're going to be that dry addict. Just dry.
So, want to talk about hospital stuff?
Sure.
Okay.
How was your last endeavor at the hospital?
That was horrible. And I've been to months in the hospital before. This is like, I don't even know. Then let's go back and let's count them. So, was there November... Or was it October? October?
I think it was October.
November. Then, was it December too? December.
I think you've been there every month.
January. And then January again to that was Grand Rapids. So 4. So this would be my 5th time there since last October. And it all has to do with my gallbladder, pancreatitis. And then they took my gallbladder out. Well, somehow it wasn't taken out all the way, or there's like these ducts in there that they leave, and well, these ducts were full of gallstones that are still emptying into my pancreas, which they get stuck, and it causes pancreatitis. Your pancreas gets inflamed, and the more times you get pancreatitis, you increase your risk for all kinds of stuff, including pancreatic cancer. So I'm not a big fan, you know, and it hurts like a hell.
I'm sure it does.
So I don't even want to mess with that.
And I'm sure with us being in recovery, you've probably been labeled a drug seeker.
Well, yeah. I mean, it really wasn't. I've heard people talk about it, and there were times where like I had a broken rib, and I actually went there because I thought something was wrong with my liver because it was kind of in the same spot that it hurt. So I went to the doctor, and this was down in Benton Harbor or St. Joe, and I go there, and I'm like, please do a scan on my liver. You know, something's wrong, and so they do, and they're like, nothing's wrong with you. You know, get out of here. And they just gave me some ibuprofen and said that I had pulled a muscle, and I was like, I don't do anything to pull muscle, man. Like, how am I going to pull muscle?
Right.
Like, this is stupid. And then 2 days later, I'm still in so much pain. It's just getting worse. So I go to a different hospital, and they're like, well, yeah, you got 2 broken ribs. And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, have you coughing? And I'm like, yeah. Well, yeah, you can do that coughing. I'm like, what? Like, yeah, if you're in the wrong angle and you cough hard, like you break a rib, and that's what we think happened. And I was like, okay. But the first, they didn't even want to do nothing. You know, yeah. I think they did x-ray me, but they just were like, whatever.
Whatever, attention seeking or...
Yeah, or they just thought I was looking for drugs. And really, I was just worried about my liver, you know?
Right.
And so when they were like, okay, nothing's wrong with your liver, I'm like, all right, cool. I wasn't even thinking ribs. I just knew, like, okay, this still hurts, but I know I didn't pull muscle. But yeah, broken ribs, that was kind of like, oh, okay, like that explains it. So, you know, I've had that, but like since I've been up here and since I've had, you know, over 3 years now sober, I haven't really had to deal with it. And even going to the hospital for the gallbladder stuff, it wasn't too bad until this time. And when I was in the ER part of it, they put you in the ER. And since COVID has kind of let down a lot, it's been nice because the other times I'd went there, I'd have to wait like 4 hours sometimes just out there, just in the little waiting room, dying, just like, ugh. And so this time it was nice because I only waited maybe 15 minutes out there, and they took me into this room and, you know, started kind of working on me and giving me some pain relief. And that was nice. It was refreshing. And they ran me for some tests and came back, and they're like, all right, well, you don't have pancreatitis. It's not your pancreas. And I'm like, okay, well, what is it? And they're like, oh, it's the duct, you got some stones still in there. And I was like, ugh. And I remember in Grand Rapids, they sent me to Grand Rapids because they didn't have the technology up here in Traverse City that they do in Grand Rapids. Grand Rapids, they can look at it and see that, okay, yeah, you still have gallstones in there.
Right.
And here they can't. And that's why I was kind of worried, like, why are you sending me to Grand Rapids? Because they kept telling me in Traverse City, well, you don't have any gallstones in there. We don't know what this is and what's going on. But we're going to go in there and look anyway. And I was like, wait, like, let's put the brakes on this. Like, why are you going to go digging around in me for something you can't even see? And so they sent me to Grand Rapids, and you have tons of gallstones is what the doctor down there told me. And they couldn't get to them because normally they would just get in there and pull them all out. But he said he couldn't get to them because the duct was so windy and stuff. And he just put a balloon in to open it up so that way the gallstones will fall down.
Right.
Into the pancreas and everything's cool. Well, I don't know. There was some sludge or something in there that got stuck, and I think a gallstone got stuck in there, creating more pain, and it was hell. So they get me medicated in the ER, then they bring me up to the room and said, all right, well, we're going to have a procedure on you tomorrow morning. So we'll keep you medicated, to keep the pain as minimal as we can. It's not going to be a 0 because we know that it can't be, but
right.
We'll get you there close as we can. And all right, cool. So I go up to the room and I tell the nurse, hey, this is what the deal is. And she's like, okay, well, we have you on, Norco. And I like, stop right there. I was like, those, for some reason, don't do anything for my pain. We've been down this road. I've tried it. If I broke a bone or something, maybe I don't know how that stuff works, but that stuff does not do anything for this pain.
Right.
And I explained to her, this is what they had me on downstairs, whatever. This is what I've had every time I've been here for this same type of pain. We need to switch it like that. And the doctor downstairs told me that this was how it was going to work. And, oh, no, we run things different up here. And blah, blah, blah. And this other lady starts barking at me. And I thought, okay, well, I know you're the nurse. Again, this is my 5th time here now. I'm a frequent flyer. I know how this works. I know you have nothing to do with it. But I need to see the doctor because we need to change this. Well, I'll put it in a page and we'll see what we can do. And starts getting an attitude with me. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not trying to disrespect you. I'm just telling you that I know what works and what doesn't. And I've already explained to this other nurse, and she was training. This other nurse was training with this older woman who was set in her ways. And all right. So it's time to give me my medicine like 2 hours later. And like the other stuff is already worn off. So I'm like in pain and I'm like really needing it. And she hands me this little cup with this one little, I'm like, what is this? I was like, this isn't going to do anything. And she's like, yep, well, that's what's on your list. And I was like, well, where's the doctor? I still need to see the doctor up here. And, oh, well, we don't really do what, blah, blah, blah. And starts telling me that they don't really cater to people needing, or I don't know, it was something real smart ass about how they only are going to do what they can do. And they're not going to go chase down a doctor, and I was appalled, and I said, okay, well, give me the other stuff then. And well, you said you didn't want the other stuff. Well, there's no way in hell I said that because
right.
there's like Dilaudid or whatever that they can give you, which doesn't last very long, but it relieves for a minute. And I was like, I'll take that while you wait for the doctor to come up here to explain things to you. And nope, she tells me that I told her that I didn't want that, which was incorrect. Never said that. And then she simply is like, well, do you want this or not? And I was like, it's not going to do anything. I don't know why I would want that. You can flush it down the toilet. It's going to have the same effect on the pain that I'm having. And she goes over to this other, it tells me that, oh yeah, she's going to get the doctor again. And then she goes over to the other guy in the room who he asked for headphones. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, I'm having real bad anxiety. When I hear people trying to use the system and take advantage of the system, it just makes me anxious and gives me anxiety. So I need my CBD gummies because, that's what I do when I have anxiety. And I'm thinking, this guy is freaking drug seeking. Like, you're trying to mask emotions, from CBD gummies. I'm like, oh, this guy is a freaking rock star, and then it hits me that he's talking about me and that I was drug seeking. And he starts saying to her, you did a good job on not, giving in to that. And, I heard everything that was going on, and you did a good job of not giving in and this and that. And she's like, well, thank you for understanding, what I do. And this, I'm like, oh, hell no. And then I started getting like irate because I was like, hey, homeboy, if you're talking about me, man, this is going to be a problem.
Doesn't that violate HIPAA laws?
Yeah. And yeah, right. And yeah, when a patient's in the same room as you and you're discussing this, and I'm hearing everything he's saying. Right. And I'm getting madder and madder. And finally, I look at the lady that I had spoken with earlier. I explained everything to, And she's like, yeah, I know you told me earlier and you didn't say any of that. And I'm like, yeah, well, what's up with that? And I was like, and if homeboy over there if he's talking about me, which I know he is, I was like, there's going to be a problem in here. I was like, his little CBD gummies aren't going to save his ass, And he's like talking about, well, when I was in the military, and I'm like, oh, Jesus, really? We got a tough guy over there, huh? Oh, no, I'm glad he's not in our military anymore because I saw him because they ended up switching rooms because his little alarm from his IV thing kept going off because he couldn't keep his arm straight. And he was beep, beep, beep. And he's like, what's that? And I said it was let's just call it an a-hole finder. It looks like we found him, And I was like, but it was something much worse than that. And I was like, oh, that's a bleep. And looks like we found him, because I had enough of that dude. And then he comes walking by, man, for real. I was like, dude, thank you for being out of the military because that dude was, no. And he was I don't even think he was. He was probably just lying his ass off, just one of those dudes that just makes it sound good because there was no way, dude, that guy. And I heard his birthday and he was born in 87. And I'm like, he's like, I miss my family. I'm so nervous in here and I need my CBD gummies. I'm like, what, dude, 87, bro. Like, okay, you're in your 30s, man. Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, really? And he walked past and I was just like, oh, dude, I'm not a fighter, but I'm pretty sure I'll put money on myself in that one.
You're 34 years old complaining about anxiety.
Yeah, and then
needing CBD.
Yeah, and then he's all talking about how I just applied to work here. I was supposed to have an interview today. And I'm like, oh Jesus, they probably would hire this guy. So the next day, the doctor comes in, and then the nurse that was that night, I kind of gave her a really hard time. I felt bad about it, but I was just in so much pain, and she's like, look, I understand, but at this point, the other doctor left already, so there's nothing we can do. I can ramp this up, and we can do this and this. And she was like, explain to me how. I'm like, no, I want it now. So I apologized because she was just straight up doing her job. But the first lady had sent it back 1,800 years that it was just hard for the other nurse that took over to kind of catch up. And she finally did at 6 a.m. I was like, oh, thanks. But it was she was doing all she could.
Right.
From her standpoint. But the first lady just screwed me over so bad. And so the doctor comes in the next morning. She's like, how are we doing with the pain? I was like, not very well. I was like, wasn't managed at all. I was like, the nurse, blah, blah, blah. And she was there again. And she came in the room, and I'm telling the doctor about how, she was treating me like I was med seeking, or drug seeking. It's like she's treating me like I was drug seeking. And she's like, what? She's like, well, you have this, and it's obvious that you're in incredible amount of pain. She's like, why would she do that? I'm like, I don't know. You tell me. I was like, she only gave me this amount, and I told her that that's not what. She's like, no, that's not what was in your thing. You were supposed to have this to this, and you could have had this anytime. And I was like, yeah, that's why I explained to her, and she told me no, that it works different up here, and that this is that. And she's like, no, it doesn't. She's like, that was my order. That's what I put in for you. And so I was like, well, I don't know. You can ask her. She's right there, And then she kind of turned around. And the doctor was kind of pissed, and the doctor, she was like, well, this happened to me, and I understand how painful this is. Like, this isn't good. And the doctor kind of stormed out, and the nurse goes running out after her, and they talk in the hall, and then the nurse comes back in like she had just been scolded, and she's like, well, I'll explain the things I need to explain to her later, and I was like, whatever. So I was done with that nurse at that point. Like, I didn't want anything from her, nothing else. And she came back in, and at this time, my wife was there, Marnie was there. And I told Marnie, because when I got out of the procedure, I felt a million times better. I was like, all right, let's go. And she's like, well, you need to talk to the doctor. And I was like, all right, honey, can you go out in the hall to the little cubicle section in the middle or whatever and tell them that I'm ready to go and I need to talk to the doctor. So she did. And then the nurse comes running in. Did you just go out there and have them call the doctor? And I said, yeah. She's like, but I'm right here. Why didn't you push your button? And I was like, because I don't trust you to do your job. And she's like, what? I was like, I don't trust you to do your job.
Right.
You didn't do it last night. Why would you do it today? I was like, I don't believe that you do your job at all. And she's just like, oh, how could you say that? And I was like, well, if you really want to get into it, I was like, you didn't give me the right meds. You treated me like I was drug seeking, and I was just trying to relieve my pain. I was like, a homeboy over here, you sure did cherish when he was telling you what a great job you did by stopping a drug-seeking behavior person and how it was making him nervous for his, CBD gummies that he needed. And I was like, and that guy was a couple sandwiches short of a picnic anyway. And I was like, so I don't know why you'd relish in anybody telling you that. But I'm telling you right now that you did not do a good job, and I don't trust you to do a job that you're supposed to do today. So why would I ask you to do anything for me?
Right.
Well, I care about my patients. And I was like, okay, fine. That's great. You can care about them more now because you have a lot more time to go care with them. You don't have to mess with me. Well, if you think that I was doing that, then I didn't. You said this and you said that. And I was like, I'm not. And I looked at Marnie's face and I thought she was kind of embarrassed, but I wasn't getting loud. I was being just matter of fact, telling her that she sucked at her job. There you go.
Some
You
people
suck at
just
your
need to
job.
hear it.
Yeah, and I told her it'll all be in the report. Actually, I don't think I told her that. I should have. I'm like, it'll be in the report. You'll have a chance to read it. But at a place that's supposed to be, and I know they get money, from the government, from grants to go spread the word to the public about, advocating for people in recovery and for people that are sick and people that are, in the hospitals doing things. And here they are, their own staff. Needs to be trained.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
And that's sad because wasn't Munson one of the first hospitals in northern Michigan to hire like peer recovery coaches?
Yeah. What's up with that? They
In
need
their
to go talk to their
hospital?
own people. Like I was told, I was texting people. And they're like, you should holler up and get a peer recovery coach. And I was like, I shouldn't have to do that.
No.
I'm over 3 years clean. Like I'm not.
Yeah, I shouldn't have to call one of these guys to come in and advocate for me.
Right.
Because I'm in recovery.
No, I can advocate for myself. This woman just needs to realize her mistakes. And I'm not going to say her name's Jody or anything. Oops. But because I don't want all the focus on her, but clearly she's not the only one in that whole building that act that way. And I think that for sure they need to go back and look at their staff and reach and train them. Because first of all, if I was drug seeking, I wouldn't go to the hospital.
No.
Wouldn't go to the hospital. It wouldn't. That's just not a place you go.
We know where to go.
Yeah, let me go hang out in the ER for, I don't know, long ass time, make up some shit. No, that's not, no.
Yeah.
There's a quicker phone call we can make.
For sure.
So, okay, do people do it? Probably. But they're already in there and they're dealing with pain.
Right.
Of course they're going to be like, hey, can you stop my pain? When I was in there before, I think it was in January, the guy that was in there too had some major injuries. And they just started like, not telling him, but just not giving him as much. And he woke up the night screaming in pain. And he couldn't figure out why. And yesterday it was great. And he thought he was doing better. And now it's like, And then they told him, oh, well, we cut back in your meds because we don't want to, we don't want you to get addicted. He's like, this is my second day in here. Like, what are you talking about? This is 2 days after surgery. Like, why would you think today would be a good day to do that? And then not even tell me, this like, what? Like, don't you have to be on it for a week? And a lot of people, and when I would had the liver failure and kidney failure, man, they had me on all kinds of stuff. I'm sure of it.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know. All I know is I wasn't hurting. I didn't get out and start drug seeking. It was nothing like that for me. I just knew that, okay, wow, I almost died. That's crazy. And I was in a lot of pain. Now I feel better. But I wasn't like going to the doctor, hey, doc, I'm going to need some more of that stuff that you gave me in the hospital. I don't think a lot of people even realize that. It's when you get out and then you start getting them written for you. That's when, I think it becomes dangerous. But as you're in the hospital, I think they should just take care of your pain.
Yeah. Isn't that why they got that chart on the wall from 0 to 10?
It depends who you ask. They're like, well, that was made by the opiate people. Who knows, man?
Well, either way, my pain should be treatable.
Yeah. Manageable, for sure.
Yeah. At a 6, isn't that like breakthrough pain?
Yeah,
isn't that what
depends.
we're told by, who is that, Purdue Pharma? That, our pain should not be here. It should be here. That's breakthrough pain.
Yeah, and if you ask Budweiser or Jim Beam, they'll tell you probably a different number.
Oh, yeah. Well, they just tell you to please drink responsible.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
They don't tell you that your kidneys will fail after 10 years of use and your liver's going to fail you. And
Wasn't on that bottle I was drinking. And
No.
it didn't tell me that, hey, in 6 weeks, you're going to need 4 of these to equal 2 of these to get the same effect. What? They didn't tell me none of that. It wasn't on the bottle. It was weird.
Yeah, real weird.
I was drinking responsibly.
But, you go get an opiate prescription. They got all these side effects and everything else, but this alcohol has nothing.
That is one thing that I told the doctor. I was like, I thought I was going to have to explain how tolerance works to this woman. Because I was like, do you know how tolerance works? Like, do you understand?
Right.
And I told her, I was like, I'm bigger. And the doctor even said that. She's like, yeah, you're a bigger guy. Like, that's not unheard of for you to have that much and this and that. And for the pain that you're in, for the problem that you're having. No, that's not unheard of. And that was in your order. Like, why wasn't it given to you? She was really upset. And, so it's not everybody at the hospital. I was treated great last time I was there, besides this last time. But it just takes that one.
Just that one person. And that's what shames us away from ever going back to the hospital for any little thing that we need.
Yeah, and her pride was so hurt. The fact that I was giving it to her, just matter of fact, like, yeah, you didn't do your job. You're not good at it. And the fact that you were, taking cheers from homeboy over there, like, made you feel good, didn't it? But you were getting cheered for doing the wrong thing.
20 years ago, that would have been acceptable.
Yeah, I don't know. It shouldn't be acceptable at all. And
no.
I think her pride is going to hold her back to realize, like, she didn't do nothing wrong. And nobody likes to be told that they're doing something wrong. Like this Facebook Live thing. I don't know. I don't think we're doing it right. But, we'll I accept that. And I'll take, criticism or constructive criticism or whatever. And then that's fine. But, when you're in that setting, though, those people really need to be mindful of, am I doing it right? Did I do the right thing? And retrace their steps and rethink about it. Like, oh, no, I did act like a complete bitch to him because he was having a lot of pain.
Right.
And instead of going, wow, we got to help this guy, I thought, well, how am I not going to help this guy? Because he's just wanting drugs. He's got recovery shirt on, and I heard him talking to the other woman about, how he was in recovery and his liver failure, and so he's just wanting drugs, and that's all she heard.
He just wants a clean way to relapse and not have anything, and that's shameful because just because we're in pain doesn't mean we're relapsing. We need pain medication just like anybody else, and other treatment just like anybody else. We know that we have to be mindful when we leave the hospital, when they give us that bottle and say, here, well, you can only take this every so many hours. We have to be mindful and hold ourselves to that accountability. Otherwise, it could be a slippery slope, but that's risk that we take doing what we do.
Yeah. And when I went up to the room, I thought about this later too. Tyrone was in there because Tyrone came up to see me. Marnie dropped him off, and Tyrone came up to see me, and he came up to the room right when I was getting in. And the lady, I told Tyrone, I was like, hey man, just have a seat in the chair. And he was about to, and the lady was like, can you just give me a minute to like finish with him first? And she asked him, who are you? And he's like, well, I'm his friend. And she's like, well, then, you can get out of here and let me finish with him first. And I was like, what? And then I got to talking to her, and I was like, all right, well, he's my friend, and he can be in here.
Right.
Oh, well. And he was wanting some snacks anyway. So then she like went out and kind of looked in the hallway, and he was already gone. But I'm assuming he went to go get some snacks. But I wasn't really fond of how he was treated either. And I'm like, did that have anything to do with her thinking I was drug seeking? I don't know. Like here's this white guy, this black guy. And then when she saw my wife, she was really like, "Oh, this guy's married." I could see her face, just like, who is this guy?
Who does he think he is?
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up. You know what I'm saying?
She only knew.
She only knew. She only knew the power of your keyboard.
I know my sound effects and stuff.
I know.
So amazing.
I can't wait to read the letter you're going to write, Munson.
Yeah. No, I want them to train their people. That's all I want.
Right. Well, that's what I mean as far as on how you were treated and how, for what they tried to do and everything, that was very unethical of them to do that.
It was. And the fact that, and I'm like reading over the sheet, and that's the thing they told me too. She's like, oh, and there is a form there you can fill out. I'm like, oh, I know how to write a grievance. Thanks. She's like, oh, well, this and that. And Marty wasn't, and that was like when it first started out, Marty wasn't really sure what was going on. Marty thought she just meant about like what was going on with my stomach. And I was like, oh, no, yeah, that's all in my bag already. I'm take care of that. I figured that out. I don't know how to do agreements. But like, I was reading over all the things, and like my right to talk to the doctor, like that didn't happen.
Right.
And I said, well, let me talk to the doctor and let's fix this then. If I know you have no power, so you say, let's rectify that. Let's get the doctor up in here. And then that never happened. So I don't believe she even paged the doctor like she said.
Probably
and
not.
If she did, then where's the doctor on that one? How come this wasn't cleared up? And how come I had to suffer all night long until 6 a.m. to finally get a proper dose of what I needed?
Right.
That stuff needs to change, man.
If I were her and I heard
it does.
I don't know. Did you hear somebody talking?
Yeah, I did.
I can barely hear somebody.
I know.
Did you need a microphone? Do you want to be on camera with us? Then okay.
Yeah.
Producer. That's the producer's role. You know, they bark orders sometimes, but
they do.
Anyway,
producers are kind of like wives. They try to tell you what to do, when to do it, and how to do it.
Is that a proposal? Did you just propose live on a Spreaker Facebook live
I didn't.
podcast thing?
No.
Oh, Justin, congratulations, man. Oh, Justin's getting married. Congratulations, buddy. When's the date?
I don't have one.
Oh, yeah, it's still early, man. You just proposed.
I'm sure it'll be the 9th of some month.
That's your guess.
It's so easy to remember.
Your wife asked me, your fiance asked me earlier, when did you get married? I was like 12/12/20. Pretty damn easy.
I wouldn't call her my fiance. I told her already if we were to get married, she's got to ask me.
Okay, and I don't know if she heard the last podcast when he said that he's never going to get married, but probably maybe someday, possibly. So I was like, wait, that's the most confusing thing I've ever heard, because you just said you're never going to get married, but then you were like, well, maybe one day. And I was like, wait, what? Like, I'm so confused right now, because you just said never happening. Let's put that in cement. Never. Wait, well, hold on. Maybe it could happen. Wait, what? That was so confusing.
We'll just have to wait and see. We never know what life has in store for us. Never know what our higher power has in store for us.
No. But if you're happy and you feel it, and a lot of people, and maybe you can do a whole podcast on this one day about in recovery and knowing when it's right. You know, if you see the red flags, run. I've told you that from the beginning.
I know.
Some of
We
these
talked
floozies,
about it.
Some of these floozies you were bringing around. Just seen it. No, just kidding. But I'm just kidding. But no, but yeah, you start seeing those things that are red flags, and you just got to realize, like, all right, that kind of bothers me, you know, and to not just throw them away like I used to. It was like, oh, who cares, you know, but to just look at them and go, wait, hold on, that does bother me, and why does that bother me? Oh, because I'm not cool with that.
It's our awareness. When we get sober, we have this thing called awareness for ourselves and how we want to be treated and what we're going to be treated like. And if it doesn't fit our model of how we should be treated, we're just not going to tolerate it.
Yeah. But you got to be that way, man.
Yeah.
You know, and the more you ignore those red flags, and that's why people are like, you got to wait a year. Do you? Okay, you waited a year. Now what? You're still ignoring the red flags, and now, you know, and everybody learns different, and that's how we learn, is by going through things, by experiencing it.
Right.
We talked about that earlier on the phone. You know, we see these people in treatment and we go, oh man, he's got so much longer to go because he's at this stage. You know, that's how I break down into stages of my life and my recovery, which isn't always equal other people's. But when you hear things, and I hear it word for word, the stuff that I was saying when I was in treatment, and I hear these guys saying that same thing, and I'm like, oh, like he's
got so much more.
He's got a lot more pain coming, you know.
Oh, you got a week left, and you're worried about finding a job while you're in treatment.
Okay, buddy.
Your mind's just starting to get cleared that last week you're there, and you're focusing on all your energy towards outside things instead of inward to yourself. And I stress that a lot to a lot of people I work with, you know, that, well, right now you need to do a little bit more of self-reflecting, and all this stuff's going to happen. Like, I went to Nathan's house after I left treatment, and Jason DeBeck told me when I was in treatment, he said, do not stress about finding a job. I want you to focus on your treatment and everything else. He goes, you come out of treatment with a job up here, he goes, I'm going to be upset. And at first I was like, so now you just want me to show up to the house I got to pay $600 to move into with no job, and yet I need this cash up front, and yet I have no way to get next month's rent. Like, but you know, everything just so happens to work out. You know, I wasn't up there a week and a half, got a job, was able to pay rent, you know, and I just didn't realize it, you know, that things just work out. You know, when you go into sober living homes and that's what you're looking at doing, maybe you should talk to the people inside your homes to figure out, hey, well, where's a good spot to work? Is this a good spot, good company? Because people's going to know in your area what's good, what's not good. You know, are they going to work with you being in recovery, or are they not, you know? And that's a big factor too, because some sober living houses, like Jason's, we had to have Monday night off?
Yeah.
You know, you had to be there at 6:30 it was, for the house meeting. If you weren't there, he was packing your stuff after house meeting and find it out on the curb.
Yeah, you couldn't miss those.
Right. But, you know, when I first came in there, I was like, man, this is stupid. Like, why do we need this? But, you know, it breaks it down. It's structure back in our lives. We miss that structure. We miss that family meal time, and it brings unity to the house. As much as sometimes people will complain about other housemates, but still it brings unity to the house. We all sit down, we have a family dinner together. It makes it feel like we're a part of something instead of just like, oh, well, here you go. You're just another statistic.
The thing about Jason's too, I like Jason, man. And, at the time, I probably didn't like him that much. He's the guy running things,
Right.
And there were a lot of people in there that were just kind of sucking up to him and doing whatever. And I wasn't a big fan of that. And I wasn't going to suck up to Jason. I was going to do what I needed to do, and I did. And Jason pretty much left me alone. There was a time he was going to throw my luggage away because I didn't put my name on it. 'Cause I'm like, my name's already on it. He's like, no, but I want it on it in this tape. And I was like, oh, okay. But I mean, just little things like that. I'm like, why? But it doesn't matter why.
No.
Like I'm living in his house. I'm trying to learn how to live sober. Like, yeah, I'm doing some good things, but at the end of the day, though, I still got to take care of those little things. And that's what I learned at Jason's. But when we sat down on those weekly meetings, yeah, you couldn't miss those. I did miss one, though. But Jason wasn't there. Dustin let me miss. It was to go to suicide prevention training. So,
well, that's a notable reason.
Yeah, and I was like, whoa. I was like, I can't miss this. I was like, they held 2 seats for us, like we got to go to this, and
right.
I didn't realize it was on a stupid Monday. I didn't realize it, at the time because it was like 2 months in advance when we signed up for it. So, but Dustin let me go and that was cool. But you can't miss them. And he passes out a sheet. And at the time, again, you're just writing stuff down like, but it asks you, like, what are your goals for this week? What did you accomplish last week? What are you going to accomplish? What are your goals? And every week you're writing something down, whether you're like, oh, I'm just going to make this up. You're writing something down.
Yeah.
There is some truth in that, what you're writing down. Like, well, I want to register for school. Okay, cool. And then next week, boom. Oh, what did I write down last week? Oh, I wanted to register. Well, did I? No. Well, why not? And
then the surprising thing to that is Jason keeps all those papers.
Yeah.
He files them in your own personal little file. And like, I remember one time, I don't remember why I wrote down though, but it was a couple weeks later and he checked me on it. Was like, well, did you do this yet? You wrote it down on your goal. And he goes, and the following week, you didn't remember what your goal was because you didn't say that you completed it or didn't complete it. I'm like, shit. And that's why I was like, goals are really important to have. And that's when I started setting goals, mainly. That in between that and in treatment. I set some major ones while I was in treatment, like what I wanted to do. Like, come back to the treatment center I went to work and try to help people in jail get help and services that they need. But I didn't realize after moving there that how much little goals I was going to set for my own personal gain. And I just slowly started doing it and checking them off. Like you said, you carried around a piece of paper to check them off. And I didn't carry around a piece of paper. I had them written down, but it wasn't like tucked in my wallet. But just in that sense, I was accomplishing things. It made me feel good about myself for the first time. It actually made me feel like I was in control of my own life. I didn't need anybody else to tell me what I needed to do or didn't need to do.
Right. And it's the repetition, and just getting used to it and setting those weekly goals. And those are different than the long-term goals, but those short-term goals, those weekly goals, they help you get there.
Right.
And that's something that if you just get out of treatment, I'm just going to go live back in my house. You go back in that same situation, that same environment. Yeah, okay, it could work for some people, but for people like us, we needed that structure. We needed to be shown, here's how you do it.
Right.
And not everybody does it. There's no right way to do it. Some people like to say, oh, Jason's house is horrible. Well, you and I, we didn't like it at the time, I guess, because nobody likes rules and be told what to do. But looking back at it, it was great. It's exactly what I needed.
Yeah, exactly what I needed. I didn't, one thing that first that upset me was the amount of time you needed to fill out a pass to be able to go on an overnight pass. Well, you never know when something's going to happen. Someone asks you, hey, you want to go get a motel room for the night? You're like, sure, sounds like a great idea. Let's fill out a pass. And, you go turn it in Jason. He goes, oh, well, for tonight? No, I don't think so. You don't have 48 hours notice. It's not enough time. Are you sure you're going to be safe? And everything else, you're like, well, yeah, I'm going to be safe. He goes, no, you're not going to be safe. He goes, you're going to a hotel room. He goes, you're going to go meet someone that you have no clue who you're meeting. And he just throws it all out in your face. Like, he goes, so how can you guarantee me that this person's safe? He goes, you just met, you just started talking, and first thing that you want to go do is go get the pink dope, is what we'll call it. And he goes, and that's all that you're worried about. He goes, you're not worried about anything else. He goes, you're not putting your recovery first or anything. He goes, you're just worried about that one thing. And, and that really opened up my eyes a lot, though, to being able to plan out things and, just having a plan in life. And when you don't have something planned out and it's spare of a moment, is it really necessarily a thing that we should probably go do? No, because we don't know what's going to happen.
No, but how many of those spur of the moments led to relapses for us? Everyone.
A lot.
It was those, oh, yeah, let's get in, and boom, you're in a situation, and, yeah, he's right, you didn't think it out. And I really like the structure that Jason had, and I recommend people go there all the time. I recommend that you go there and a couple others, and they were like, oh, it's too strict, not going there. Okay, good. That's a good sign. Yeah. Because they would have been thrown out in a week, if not sooner, because Jason doesn't play. I really like that part of it too. And there were some guys when I went in there that I was not fond of, and I knew it's a matter of time. They wouldn't be there long. No.
They weed themselves out real quick. I remember telling Jason, like, this dude don't do nothing. He don't do his chore right. And Jason would look at me and be like, some people are sicker than others, and bad weeds just weed themselves right out of something like this.
And some people, we don't know how they were raised or what they went through, and not everybody was shown how to do laundry. Some tasks that you think, oh, well, everybody should know how to. No, some people just don't know, and they don't get it, and it's how they were raised. And it's going to, like Jason said, it's going to take them a little bit longer, a little bit more structure, and maybe that's not the right setting for them,
Right. And the one thing I did appreciate about Nathan's house, though, even though he required all this money and whatever, but everything was included in the house.
Yeah.
Like, if you didn't have laundry soap or whatever, like, he bought laundry soap. Like, you were not allowed to be a dirty person in his house. He gave you everything you needed. Like, he even bought bars of soap for guys who didn't have money to buy soap. Like, here, you're not going to stink. You're not going to just lounge around my house and treat it like a trap house. Right. And he gave you everything you needed.
Yep, there's no excuses for you not to make it, except you not wanting it.
Right, and that's the biggest thing, and it was funny. When I was there, one guy didn't like taking showers. One of the guys went and grabbed one of the bars of soap from the storage closet out in the garage and went and laid it on his pillow, like, here. And it was funny, though, but at the same time, it was the same thing I did when I was in jail, like, we're in here together, like, we can all hop in the rain box, wash our funk, right, and go out and about our day.
Well, in Jason's house, they had a bathroom. You could shut the door. You didn't have to take a shower with anybody else. It was not awkward. It was not weird. There was really kind of no reason for not taking a shower there. There were nice bathrooms, nice showers, 2 of them.
Right. Real nice.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, it is what it is, but, But he didn't last that long.
Oh, they kind of tend to go quick.
Yep.
But, yeah, that's our. I think that'll wrap up our test. We did 1 hour and 12 minutes. If we were in fact on Facebook Live, I don't know. I think it'll post there eventually, and so I can watch the video. That's cool.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I guess. And on Spreaker too. And was there another thing? No, that was just it, right?
I thought you clicked the tubes.
YouTube?
Yeah.
No. I tried to go on YouTube, and then it told us we had to wait 24 hours before we could go live.
That's right.
They were making sure we weren't. I don't know what they were doing. We'll see. We'll figures it out. But yeah, we did 1 hour and 3 minutes on Spreaker.
Nice.
So that I'm pretty sure is live. So we'll have to listen to that and make sure we're good to go there. Because if we can go on Spreaker, then we're good. But I just want to go live on something else too, in a video platform, which we don't have to be synced up with the podcast.
Right.
But it would. I mean, it would sync up with them. I don't freaking know, man. We're gonna dive in and see what happened was, and we'll let you know. But yeah, thanks for listening to the podcast. Thanks for watching the live stream, if in fact you did or have or are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Much love. If you haven't, and you're listening on the app or whatever, go check it out. Maybe it'll interest you.
True that.
Seeing our faces talk.
Yeah.
Stuff.
And this podcast gives you a gift at something.
What do you mean?
It's called the gift of life.
That's what's up, you know what I'm saying?
It is.
It is.
It is. thanks. 217recovery.com. If you don't have the app yet, get it, because I think just get the app.
Yeah,
and then it'll save you so much trouble in the future when I say go to the app and do this and do that. Sign up for free shirts. UFAM rally. This is kind of why we're doing this. May 19th in Lansing. There'll be details on that. And look for the flyer. It's coming soon. And we're going to make little videos and stuff and tell you to come there. And then, Justin, you're taking over TikTok for 217 Recovery.
Yeah, I'm going to figure that out.
Start it up or something.
Yeah.
Have some kids do it. You got kids, they can do it.
Yeah, I do.
Kids. He's got kids.
Yeah.
You got a family, bring them together.
Yeah.
Congratulations again on your engagement that maybe happened.
She hasn't asked yet, so.
Want me to do it right now?
Oh my God.
Oh.
It's too much. Save it for the 19th or the 9th. Or wait, was it?
It's got to be a
9th.
Yeah, it's
save
gotta
it for
be
the
the
9th of
9th.
May.
And then
Yeah.
right on the 9.
Yeah, save that.
Yeah.
Okay. So that way it goes with your recovery dates.
Yeah, and so that way I remember, see.
So then you'll get married on the 9th.
Yeah, I don't want to forget.
But thanks for listening. 217recovery.com. Resources, rebuilding the page. So check it out in the next few days. But appreciate all the support and love, and we'll holler at you later.
Deuces.